Hey friends, Beth back here again. Welcome back. If you are new here, welcome. I am Beth, one of the makers behind crochetrx. I am a nurse diabetes educator and I run this business with my daughters. And if you are not new here, welcome back. Glad to see you here again. Today we are going through our NC yarn tour. I had signed up for this a number of months ago. I got myself and both kids my dog is going crazy. One of the girls was out picking blueberries and apparently just came back in. But I signed myself up and both my girls for the yarn tour. We all get entered into a number of drawings. Well, I do because I got 3 bags. So 3 entries for me, really. But so, and then as we visit these different shops and bring the bag, we can enter additional giveaways and we are eligible for some different discounts and other things that are going on at the individual shops. So these specific things are going on throughout the month of July. Apparently, as I've been looking at things, there's also some individual regional yarn tours going on for some of these stores for certain weeks in July. So I might be doing some double dipping because when you fill out some of these regional forms, you then get additional prices. So we will see what we can work out. So my little did throw some of her stuff into my bag, so I will try my best to differentiate what came with the bag versus what may be a little extra that ended up in my bag. So to get started, we all got information about the self-guided yarn tour. So it has a list of the shops along with some basic contact information. These shops do not have listed hours. And that is probably my biggest problem with this to get started with all of this. A number of these shops are not even actually shops. They are farms or dyeing studios. They do not keep regular store hours. There are like 30 shops, 30 businesses listed. I have had to contact about 2/3 of these businesses asking what hours they are going to be open for July so that I could actually visit their store. I find that incredibly irritating because for how many bags were done, that means that every other single person that purchased a bag is having to do the exact same thing. So something to learn from. I did message the organizing thing with that feedback saying this would be good to include in your thing. Some of these businesses are only opening their doors one day for the entire month of July to have people stop by. They're having like one day of events. So odds are I will not be making those because I live 3 to 5 hours away from most of these shops. So the odds of me fitting in their specific event into that day of travel, if I even choose to travel that day, is slim to none, quite frankly. So continuing on this, after the list of shops are some sponsors of the yarn tour. These are people who have things in the bag, as well as people who I believe, or businesses rather, that are sponsoring the giveaways for prizes and so forth. Then we have a double knit scarf pattern. So as of this current moment, I do not knit, so unfortunately not working for me, but that is in here. And then there is also a second cowl pattern as well, which is also knit. So unfortunately for me, the patterns in this do not currently work for me. In addition, in the bag, we got a couple of magazines. The magazines did vary from bag to bag. So in the 3 bags, we got 2 different publications. This is one of them. Like, I can't even read the title. Flotty? I don't know. So fashion. There's some information in here. Looks like there's some crochet, slip stitch, single crochet. I understand those terms. And so a number of apparel designs, Kashik pullover. I can absolutely not read this pattern. Slip stitch, no stitch. All right, I have not read those types of patterns before, so it'll be learning curve should I choose to do that. This then Malabringo, I don't know. I guess this is a yarn brand. So this is more apparel. Silky merino pullover. So needles, so we're knitting on that. And then we've got a couple other mini pattern books. Here's a mittens. I'm assuming that says knit and purl, K and P. And then a cute little, like a cowl, I think is what that's called. Me and fashion are not. Some information on Carolina Fiber Fest for next year, March 13th to 14th in Raleigh. Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair, Asheville in October. Another pamphlet on the Agricultural Center in Asheville. This Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair. Oh, this is the October event. Oh, that's a duplicate. Fiberfest. All right. We got a cute little notebook here. It says, "May you be proud of the work you do, the person you are, and the difference you make." All of my little thingies aren't punched out, but it has little flags and Post-its. I love Post-its. And then a little notebook and a pen. And so the pen also has that same little saying on it. So just a cute little notebook in our bag here. We then have itty bitty little travel scissors. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So super cute there. So then in the bag here, we also have a yarn weights guide. So this is a little wood board that has been burned, engraved. I'm not up on my terms there. So yarn weight guide, lance, fingering, sport, DK, worsted, bulky, super bulky, knit stitches per inch, needle size, hook size, needle size US, needle size millimeters, hook size millimeters, for some generic recommendations. So these look to be more of clothing, apparel recommendations definitely not amigurumi hook sizes. So, but cute nonetheless. And then there are a couple cute little teeny tiny little wood things here. Excuse me. And similarly, you will see some of those like that in a bit here. So we got some stitch markers and stuff. We got a tape measure, Friends and Fiberworks. That is who put this on. So then we got, so this is a duplicate here from my kiddo and I. My teenager kept hers, but slight different colorways for the yarns that they did, or they gave out. So they do say that these are the same color and the same lot. It says color is LYS and Crawl 25, lot 203. But these are 110% not the same. So I don't know. Absolutely not the same. But this is Earth Yarns, URTHYARNS, Earth Yarns. It says knit to plant. A portion of each sale supports TFF, helping plant trees and restore land through sustainable farming in Africa. Trees for the future. So that's pretty cool. Fingering weight, 100% SW extra fine merino. It says it's 88 yards, 20 grams. So again, this one here definitely has a lot more black to it. This one is more of a blue. Otherwise the purple and yellow seem similar, but this is much blue and this is black. So there's that. Then the other, again, duplicated because my younger one gave me her yarns here. So this one is Wilkesboro Fingering, 24.5 micron SW Shaniko. Again, this is probably apparel and knitting. I am not up on those terms. 480 yards, 100 grams. So teeny tiny little things here from the Meridian Mill House, which is one of the shops participating. The last couple yarns here. This is starting to unravel here. Let's see if I can't wind this puppy back up and get it to stay secure a little bit better. So again, a couple different colorways. So this was the two that the younger daughter and I received. Teeny tiny little things here. This is Sidar Happy Cotton. It says double knitting, 20 grams, approximately 47 yards. These are teeny tiny here. So 100% cotton, made in Serdar under license in Turkey. So a blue and kind of, not quite a lime, but a greenish. It says it's 4mm US 6 crochet needle and a 4mm. I guess that's a crochet hook. I'm not quite sure what that symbol is. Looks kind of funny there. A few other things that were included is a cute little like travel nail kit. So that was included in there. And then little bag. I ended up putting just a whole bunch of little things in here to keep them all together. So we've got a little teeny tiny little like blueberry stitch marker there. It says Hillside Farms. And then got the information on the NC yarn tour. We've got a little nail file from that same Hillside Farms. We've got another stitch marker, a little key here from Asheville Home Crafts. So teeny tiny there. And then we've got, like, there was those little wood focus. Those little wood pieces on the side of that yarn gauge. We've got a whole bunch of these little wood pieces here. There we go. Charlotte yarn, that says. So these could be clipped onto something for stitch markers. This is Friends and Fiberworks, which is kind of the organizer for this event. Then we've got little cords, which my understanding, these are the cords that go between the focus back on me, the cords that go between the knitting needles. So let me read my little thing. The knitting cords are hollow silicone cables that you can use as stitch holders, perfect for getting your stitches on holders. So you can try on your sweater, or even for holding your stitches, so you can use the needles on another project. So we'll see. Again, as of this moment in time, I do not know how to knit. I did, if you've seen some of my other videos, I did recently inherit my grandmother's knitting needles and accessories. So that was something that I thought I might try this summer during my lull between shows. So we will see. I've seen a number of beginner knitting projects, and while we were at Joann's for some of the last closing stuff, my yarn hauls, I purchased a number of Simply Soft Karen yarns. So I've got a number of very pretty colors if I were to try to do something. So those are up right there, because those are not my amigurumi stuff, or at least not typically. So that's that. So I am in the process of trying to figure out what days we will be traveling for July. So this is June 30th. It is the last day of June. So the yarn tour starts technically tomorrow. And I am trying to figure out what days we will kind of go traveling. I am on the eastern side of the state. The vast majority, I should have had my little map. The vast majority of these yarn shops are Charlotte and Asheville area. So Charlotte is 3 hours, Asheville's 5-ish. So Charlotte, we could do a 3-hour out, do a day, and come back. Asheville, we're kind of looking at it overnight for that. Asheville hotels are stupid priced, stupid. So have to think about how we're going to do that. All right, so I grabbed my map. So if you can see this, we are like right in this area here. So nothing. And the vast majority of, so we've got a whole bunch of stuff in Raleigh, and then we've got a whole bunch of stuff in Charlotte and Asheville. So lots of pins right on top of each other for a number of those things. So while the Raleigh stuff can easily be done in a day, the Charlotte is going to take more planning, and certainly Asheville is going to take a lot of planning. So trying to figure out the best way to do that and what shops. A lot of the shops are only open like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I really almost need to make a spreadsheet of what shops are open and what hours and see what overlap. It is really not super effective for a statewide sort of event where people are going to be traveling to come visit you. So I know this is primarily designed to bring traffic back to areas that were hit with the hurricane and bring some of that back, but it's missing a lot of information. It's missing a lot of feasibility for individuals who are not local to the area. For a statewide sort of event, it is not very statewide friendly. So we will see how things go, and I will take you guys along for the ride. So if you have suggestions or have been to any of these yarn shops, I would love to hear from you. I personally will not be setting appointments. Some of these locations did say that they would set appointments to meet with me outside of their specified times. I do not have the type of budget to spend $50 at all 30 of these businesses. I don't have it. So if I cannot meet you during business hours, I will not be scheduling appointment times outside of that, because I cannot guarantee that I am going to purchase anything. Depending on what you have, I can't guarantee that I'm going to make a purchase. Things may be beautiful, but at this point, I do not make lacy and that kind of wearables. So I am not going to waste anybody's time by scheduling an appointment to see their facilities outside of their regularly business hours to the public. So I think that's about it. I do not have a show going on. I have not heard anything from the Harry Potter Children's Festival. I have not heard anything more about the cat rescue. So at this point, I do not have any shows until fall, which I'm okay with. I did put up just kind of a spontaneous shopping event on Palmstreet for today, just to see if I can't drive traffic. I've had a lot more follows on there. I have not done anything on there for 6 weeks. So we will see if anything sells this afternoon. I do not have high hopes. They are having a bit of a mid-year event this weekend. I may participate in that just because I have nothing else going on. I do not have any plans for the 4th. I do not have any plans. I have no events, no nothing. I've got inventory out the wazoo. We are trying to figure out a new way to store some of this because I need to get it off the floor. I need to get back to my exercise equipment. It is hot as Hades outside, and I need to get back to walking and biking. And everything is covered in yarn from everything I have bought from Joann's, and I need to reclaim my exercise room. So lots of works in progress. That is all the updates for now. Let me know if you've got any comments on any of the yarn shops, any of the information in the yarn tour, and we will check in down the road.